This is an extraordinary story about two demoniacs taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 8. In Mark's account, I think there is only one of them, not two, and that one is filled with a legion of demons. So, how can we take a message from this, because it seems so distant from us? It seems to have nothing to do with us. I mean, we don't see people in chains or going wild in the wilderness, and certainly not possessed with demons, and then Jesus coming and sending the demons into a herd of pigs who raced down the hillside and into the lake of Galilee. You say, how can that touch our lives? Or what message can we get from this? How is it good news? I suppose I want to make two brief points about this story. Most people today will dismiss the story or pass over it as an interesting story, maybe more in line with Alfred Hitchcock or with horror movies than with reality. It will have little to say to most people, and yet it is quite relevant. The reason that they dismiss it is because they have no belief in the world of the demonic. They think that this is an ancient belief. It is a primitive belief, and these things that people called demons are just projections of people, projections of their deepest fears and their terrors and their horrors. But now that we have the insights of psychology, we know that they don't really exist. They're merely projections, and that if we explain them rationally, they will go away. That is really what a huge amount of people believe in the church and also among the priests. Now, what I want to say, I'm making 2 points today. The first one is that there is a reality of the demonic. Whether you think it is primitive or ancient, or it just doesn't fit in with our modern psychology, there is a world of the demonic. And Jesus believed in it. He dealt with it. 1/3 of his ministry was concerned with this particular aspect of reality. His ministry could be divided into 3 parts. The first part was preaching, second part healing, and third part, this kind of stuff, casting out of demons. And in the Great Commission, in Mark chapter 16 and Matthew 28, when Jesus is about to ascend into heaven, he calls his disciples and he gives them the commission, the Great Commission to go out. And he says, these are the signs which will accompany believers. In my name, they will cast out demons. The very first instruction of the Great Commission is to cast out demons. Even before preaching, even before healing, he says, you as my believers, you will speak in tongues, you will pick up snakes and you will not be harmed. If you drink deadly poison, you will not die. Now Jesus builds the casting out of demons into the Great Commission those of you who don't know what the Great Commission is, it is those words and, yes, commission, what you commission somebody to do. You ask them to do a certain work, you appoint them to do something, that's called the commission. Before he entered into heaven, before Jesus ascended into heaven, he gave his church this commission, this work to do. And because we haven't done it, we now call it the Great Omission. The Great Omission, not commission. We have omitted to do what Jesus asked us to do. So most people will have probably zero things to do with casting out of demons. As I said, because we don't believe in it. We think that it doesn't really affect us. And yet here in South Africa, every night, a huge proportion of our country is afflicted between 12 and 3, 12 and 4 in the morning by this kind of stuff. Mediums are sending spirits, people are cursing. I'm not talking about witches on brooms. I'm talking about people sending spirits to curse you, to harm you, to take advantage of you, whatever. That's another sermon. But what I'm trying to say is there is a reality of the demonic. Now, just quickly, the Sea of Galilee is, if I can use this card here, it's divided into left and right, or east and west. So on the west side of the shore of the Sea of Galilee, that's where the Jews were, really. That's where Jesus did his ministry. But from time to time, but not frequently, Jesus would go to the east. That was the pagan side. That was where the Gentiles were. That's why there is a huge herd of pigs over there. Because these are very unclean animals for Jews. You wouldn't find them on the western shore or the northern shore of the Lake of Galilee. They were all on the east side. And so Jesus didn't really go there very often, but a couple of occasions he did go over there. And he encounters a place that is, well, he encounters people who are not just demonized with one or two demons, they are thoroughly demonized. Demonized means that they have got demons in them. One man had over 1,000 in him. Well, is that possible? Yes, it is. One can be, just like one can be infected with COVID, one can be reinfected and reinfected. But I like to think of it like, have you ever seen a dead animal lying out in maybe the wilderness? You'll see swarms of flies coming around it. Not just one or two, but here they see something to take advantage of, and they swarm around it. In a similar way, you would have a demonic infestation like that. You would have an opening or something to allow them in, and then more and more would come in until the person is totally demonized. Well, how would that happen in South Africa? It's very unlikely that people would have that amount of demonization. But if you continually keep involvement in the occult, consulting, practicing witchcraft, hatred, cursing, then you will become increasingly demonized. If you watch more and more pornography, you will become more and more demonized with sexual demons. So you don't just normally get one demon or two. You in our experience, you get many of them clustering together. You have the initial demons entering, and they open for the stronger ones to come in. And it's a bit like COVID as well, in that they're already in before you feel the symptoms. And then, like COVID again, it's very difficult to get it out. So let me come to the second point. When Jesus comes to the eastern side of the Lake of Galilee, known as the Gadarenes, or Gadara, or the Gergesenes, different names for that place. He steps ashore, and then these two people who are demonized, they run to Jesus, they come towards him from the tombs. They're living among the tombs there. They can't live in the towns. People don't want them. They are tormented souls, absolutely tormented. By the way, drugs, which is now one of the preferred methods of the demon, thoroughly torments people. It's not just the drug or the desire for the drug, but it is the tormenting spirit in it. These spirits do not have peace in themselves. They're called unquiet spirits. They have no peace. And although they're here on earth, and they're in purgatory and they're in hell, no matter where they have no peace, because they are damned. They are damned spirits. They're looking for peace. And how do they get peace? Believe it or not, the best place that they can get peace is in a human being. They won't get it in a tree or a rock. They will feel tormented. And when these men, or this demoniac, says that he is tormented, it is the demons in him that are tormenting him. And he is experiencing their torment because they cannot be at peace within them. They get some peace in a human being, but they are not able to be at peace. And so they carry out their assignment or their commission within the person, and that is to steal, kill, and destroy him. Steal his faith, kill him eventually through suicide, and destroy him to join them in hell. Now Jesus comes into the Gadarenes and he casts out these demons. The demons are terrified of Jesus, and they say to him, "Have you come before the time?" What do they mean by, "Have you come before the time"? You see, it's not time for the final judgment. So there is an agreement between God and the demonic realm that they will grow, if you like beside the wheat, just like the tares grow up beside the wheat. So are the demons allowed in the world until the time comes for them to be banished and locked in hell for all eternity. And please God, we don't want to join those vicious things. So they plead with Jesus, if you cast us out, send us into the pigs. Pigs are better than sending us into rocks. Now, notice that they don't want to leave the area. They don't want to go to Capernaum, or they don't want to go to the western shore, because that's where Jesus is doing his ministry. And they're only going to run into Jesus on that side. So they want to stay in this particular region. In other words, undisturbed. They want to stay in a region. And that tells us that various parts of the world can be, in fact, inhabited. That's not unusual, that places, demons can inhabit not just people, but also places. And whenever you come to certain places, you get a bad feeling about the place. When you're buying a house, you've got a bad feeling about the house. Well, a friend, go to the western side of get another house. Now, the second point is this. When Jesus has successfully cast them out and the demons have gone into the pigs and charged down the hill, the swineherds run into the town and they tell the whole story. Now notice what happens. The whole town set out to meet Jesus. And what did they say to him? Instead of thank you for healing these two men, they said, please leave this place. We don't want you here. You're going to destroy this place. You've destroyed our pig industry. But please leave. Now, the point is, when Jesus comes into a place, the demons must get out. But to have the demons in the place rather than Jesus. Doesn't that sound like our world? We ask him, please leave. We don't want you. Yeah, you completely healed these two guys. But we want a world where we are accommodating the demonic. We want that kind of a world. Please leave. You're disturbing it. That's our world, dear friends. Well, Jesus has made the calculation that it is better to lose 2,000 sheep to save one man. The world calculates that it is better to save 2,000 sheep and destroy people. That's the difference between the way the world thinks and the way Jesus and God thinks. You are worth more than many sparrows. You are worth more than 2,000 pigs. That's how God sees it. But the world, you as a human being, you can be trafficked. We can use you so that we can build up our pig industry, our drug industry, at the expense of human beings. You see how the gospel is different? You now see how this gospel actually speaks a lot to us. It's the way God sees the world and the way we see it. We don't care whether people remain injured, demonized, cursed, afflicted, tormented. We don't care. We want industry or whatever to continue. We must protect our assets, our pigs. We don't really care about people. And this story is telling us Jesus cares about people. Even people who live among the tombs. People who've got nothing, who are tormented. Jesus cares. But we don't. That is today's gospel. May we have within us the sentiments of the heart of Jesus, his heart for people, elevating them above things. Blessed are you, Lord, God of all creation. Through your goodness we have received the bread we offer you, the